Hey guys, I'm Elise Wong, and on this video I'm going to show you a time-lapse video with commentary on how I did this digital painting. I did this painting for a contest, and they are testing on style, message, and aesthetics. And for me, when it comes to message, I always think of environment. I like nature, so this painting is to portray. You see, because I feel like when it comes to plants, there is no cuddly face for us to love. There's not much of a connection we have to plants because they have no eyes, they have no smile, they don't have any cuteness factor. I thought that by using a human entity, in this case Mother Nature, as she made a connection to the plants, so to showcase that plants are important and they are beautiful as well. And I hope this message came across. I did this painting with a Wacom tablet CTL471. I will show a pop-up link on my very first video, so don't be hating on me too much. It's about unboxing and where I got my Wacom tablet. And I also used a Photoshop CS6. I hope you find this video helpful. Please enjoy. I drew the head using the famous Andrew Loomis's approach. To really bring out its feminine qualities, I try to make her features look soft and delicate. Big eyes and full lips, that usually really brings out the feminine features. I drew the outline of her design in a different layer because I didn't really have anything planned. I was just like playing with whatever I thought of to design her. So all this is just, fun. Then I did the background. I started with everything very vague, to just build the fundamentals. I'm not gonna lie, if you've seen my previous art, I never really do detailed backgrounds, so this was pretty new to me. To tell you the truth, I had to redo this 4 times, not kidding. But redoing those 4 times, my mistake was I did not use a reference photo. Reference photos are really important if you want to make realistic art. Some people might think it's cheating, but I've read a book written by a fantasy artist once. He said something that really makes a lot of sense. Like, for example, if you want to draw your parents, whom you see every day, but when you draw without looking at them, do you remember their every feature? Do you remember the every wrinkle, every dimple? However the light shines on them, do you even remember how their bone structure look like? You can't be accurate unless you have a guide, which is the reference photo. So it's not cheating, it's just guidance. So for the background, as the distance goes further, it can be less detailed because it kind of depends what you're going for. But for me, I just want the background to slowly disappear because the main attraction is Mother Nature making a connection to the plants. To really bring forth the foreground, I made a log, and to put little moss on it, which she will make a connection with, I laid down the flat colors for Mother Nature and started to build another layer. And I work with a lot of layers. So if you are the kind that actually work with a lot of layers as well, just remember to name them because you can easily get confused, like, well, which layer is which. So I have a layer for flat colors, and I also have a layer for shading. For the eyes, I also wanted to give it some complementary colors, so I used yellow. Really catches your attention out of the green and brown everywhere. And for the vines on the head, I added in the shadows and highlights to give it its three-dimensional form. But at the same time, you don't want it to look like it's just floating on her head. So after cleaning up all the strokes, the excess strokes, I add in shadows. So it looks like it's a part of her instead of just floating all over her head. For lips, if you want to go for a really glossy lip thing. In something glossy or metallic, for example, you need high contrast. So the dark will be very dark, but the highlights will also be very light. So there's a very big gap in between, and it kind of gives the illusion that it's shiny. So for the lips, I made the highlights really high and the shadows really dark. As for the hair, I wanted, I don't want everything to just be green and brown because that's nature. When we think of nature, we usually think green and brown. So I thought to add red petals to her hair to really give that contrast effect. All those blinky thingies you're looking at right now, I actually used a lasso tool to keep everything within its premise. So if my brush actually goes over the petals, it won't paint outside of it, if you get what I'm saying. Everything is contained in the red section. That's what the lasso tool is for. For the stringy thingy of her hair, I used a pen tool to really give it that nice flow. I also add that little yellow pollen thing. The pink is to balance everything out in her hair instead of just always making it green and yellow. For her shoulder piece, I wanted to give an illusion of tree barks. So for the thing about making it look a little bit more realistic is I put a lot of layers into it. I use a run hard brush, and I just repeatedly stroke it, and this adds layers to it and give it a much more realistic effect. If you notice, the shadows and highlights is actually contradicting the overall scene. This is because in this scene she's actually going to touch one of the little plants, and by making this connection, it glows. So now you can see that the light source is actually from the plant and not the sunlight in the back. So now I'm doing all the finishing touches, adding little highlights here and there, and also to add a necklace and just kind of like fix everything. I couldn't see my errors at the time. So I just add all this for extra measure to really balance the whole scene out. I hope you find this video helpful, and if you do, please share the love by liking and subscribing. And please feel free to comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. And if you'd like to keep up to date with my photos and paintings, you can follow me on the following sites down below in the video description: Facebook, Blogspot, Google+, and Deviantart. That's all for today. I will see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Bye. Stay cool.